Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Board of Trustees to order on February 17, 2015, and ask Abby Dillard to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the secretary for the roll call, please.
Trustee Ash.
Here.
Trustee Reidenthal.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Plunder. Trustee Maddox.
Here.
Trustee Rios.
Here.
And Trustee Townsend.
Here.
Ask for approval of the agenda. There's been no amendments.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ask for approval of the minutes from the January 13, 2015 meeting.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded for approval of the minutes of January 13, 2015.
No problem.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Audience to patrons and petitioners. Anyone wishing to speak to the board this morning? Hearing none, we'll move along. I would like to recognize this morning our members of Phi Theta Kappa. First of all, Joseph Lutz, who has a GPA of 3.87 and is majoring in engineering, and Wendy Manaris, who also has a GPA of 3.88 and who is a pre-med student. We had the opportunity to attend those ceremonies, Dr. Givens and I, along with Susan and Michael last week. And I'd like to turn it over to Stacy Tucker, who is their advisor, and ask Stacy to bring the students forward, please. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Stacy, who is now a new doctor. Stacy has her PhD. Congratulations.
So each fall, we have the opportunity to nominate 2 students from the college. They do have to do an application process through phi-theta-kappa.org. It's not the easiest process. There were some late nights, I know, for both of these students. The All Kansas academic team is based on academic achievement and community service, and that is what those applications are judged upon. These 2 students were our nominees for this year, Joe Lutz and Wendy Manaras, and they're just going to tell you a little bit about their experience here at the community college briefly.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Joseph Lutz. I am an engineering student. I'll be graduating this May with an Associates of Science. My experience has been very enjoyable here, and I thank you all for the wonderful job you guys do. Are there any questions that anyone has for us? Or?
All right. Thank you.
Hello, like Stacy and before mentioned, my name is Wendy Manares, and I too was nominated for the All Kansas representative. It was a privilege to not only be there and represent our college because it is a great one, but to have support with us, like Dr. Givens and everyone else who went with us. So we do appreciate it. Like I said before, I am pre-med, graduating in May with my Associates in Science, and it is a privilege to come to this school. Thank you.
All right. Any questions from the board? Well, thank you very much for representing us. It was a great event and very enjoyable. Thank you. Congratulations. Communications. I have a resolution for your approval. Resolution reads as follows. A resolution regarding the consumption of alcohol liquor in accordance with KSA 41-719, paragraph I. Whereas Kansas statutes annotated 41-719, section C, prohibits the consumption of alcohol liquor on public properties except where expressly permitted by law, and whereas the Kansas City, Kansas Community College is authorized under Kansas law to exempt from the provisions of KSA 41-719, Section C, specified property which is under the control of KCKCC Board of Trustees and which is not used for classroom instruction. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of KCKCC, Section 1, KCKCC hereby exempts for the April 23rd, 2015, the lobby area of the multipurpose room of the Thomas R. Burke Technical Education Center located at 6565 State Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas, from the requirements of KSA 41719. Section 2, the exemption is granted in connection with the holding of the KCKCC Mid-America Education Hall of Fame reception. Passed and approved by the Board of KCKCC in a meeting held on February 10th, 2015. I asked for a motion to approve the resolution.
Move to
Chairman,
approve with amendment of the date to the meeting being February 17th.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the resolution with the change of date to February 17th, 2015. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Darren Elliott is here. Can anyone report on that?
No, he's
Can
not
you
gonna be
report
here.
on that, Mike?
Yeah, Darren and the debate team, they recently had some outstanding accomplishments in recent tournaments, and they brought in a couple of trophies to Dr. Gibbons' office, and we hoped to have them here this morning, but I think there were some illnesses, and so they weren't able to make it, but we'll bring that to you in March and give another thorough report. We are hosting the National Debate Tournament over our spring break, so we'll have some good things to report, most likely in April, because I think our board report is prior to the break in March. So,
Thank you, Mike. I ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss the elected and non-elected personnel matters to protect the privacy interest of the individuals to be discussed and for consultation on a matter protected by attorney-client privilege. How long do we need, General Counsel?
20 minutes, and it'd be for non-elected personnel matters, and then the attorney-client privilege, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We do also need to discuss an elected issue. So could we try to move that to about 25 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
My assumption is that the election issue has to do with the matter you're going to discuss with your legal counsel.
Right.
All right, then yes, sir. 25 minutes.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, it's been moved?
Second?
Moved and seconded. We go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're in executive session. Call the meeting back in session. Do you have in your president's report, are there any action items? Susan, are there any? Okay, we have a trustee that has to leave, so we're going to move to the portions of the agenda that require action and votes. So we're going to move to Section 9, Finance, and I'm sorry, Section 11. Don't know my Roman numerals. Thank you. And ask the Chief Financial Officer to cover Section 11.
Mr. Chairman, you just need a motion to amend the agenda in the manner you prescribed, a second, and then a vote, and then you would take it up, and you would want to take up the finance report and whatever other personnel issues.
Okay.
We do have the action item in my report on the special course fees that we either need to table or approve
Yeah.
as an action item,
That would be
the
part of
special
your,
course fees.
that could be part of your amended agenda item to accommodate the trustee, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Counsel. Okay, I ask for a motion to amend the agenda to move to action items covered in Section 9 and Section 11.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to amend the agenda to move to action items 9 and 11. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So let's move to the Vice President of Academic Affairs, Section 9.
Yes, that's a motion to approve the special course fees that were presented in your board packet. We indicated in red key things that we've done there is each division analyzes their courses and determines whether or not they are needing to raise their fees, lower their fees, or get rid of their fees. And one thing that we have done this year is we're recommending that we remove the $30 fee that's been charged to what we call web-enhanced courses. These were courses that met on the ground 100% of the time, but yet they had an online component to them. Students might do work through online, submit reports, papers, assignments online, and we in the past charged a $30 fee because that was the only way that those courses could get a course shell to use for that. This year, when we moved to Blackboard as our course management system, one of the things that we implemented for all courses was a course shell. So all faculty from adult ed through our tech centers all have a course shell that the faculty can or cannot use. It's their, they're not required to use it, it's their option. Some of them use it simply to post syllabi and maybe lecture materials. Others may use it to do assignment submission. So because we had all courses now having a course shell, we felt that it was not really appropriate to be charging any course a fee simply because they designated it as web enhanced. And so we've done that this year. The other fees, you'll see that some of the fees have gone up, a few have gone down as the divisions have analyzed those. So I ask for you to your consideration in approving the course fees at this time so that we can get these into the schedule so that students, when they start registering at the beginning of April, will know what their special course fees are for any courses that they register for at that time.
I have a question. If we were to study this issue a little further and delay action until March 3rd, would that cause complication in regards to getting them into the course schedule that you referenced?
It would be a little tight for the divisions to get the changes made, but I think they could get those changes made if we had it approved by, or if they knew by March 3rd.
I like to move to table the item for further study so that we can ensure that all costs are in fact being covered and that we have this schedule, for lack of better terminology right now, correct. Because this has been something that we really in the past haven't paid that much attention to. It's been kind of a just foregone conclusion kind of thing and not a lot of study to it. And I think as we have become more determined to make sure about what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, that we just need a couple of more weeks to do that study and then be able to take that action at the March 3rd board meeting. So with that rationale, I move to table the motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to table the approval of the fee schedule. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any other action item, Dr. Vitale?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to finance under Section 11.
Okay, thank you, thank you. One thing that I would like to point out on finances, you're starting to see some graphs and charts in the board packet, and those will become more robust. We're presenting to the deans this Friday a beta budget workshop, and from that we hope to be able to produce, again, more transparent reporting across for the budget directors and the deans, and certainly we'll bring that to the board. So that is as an FYI. And then for motions for approval, I'd like to move to approve for approval of the payment of the bills. And the bills are on page 70, and they're at $2.299,766 and 11 cents. So just right at $2.3 million, and we do have funds across the university to pay those.
Move to approval of payment of the bill.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the payment of the bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Secondly, I have approval for the move to approve for the credit cards. The credit card amount is $333,737.25. Like to move to approve. Again, we have the funds for those.
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the payment of the credit card bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Then I have two more items under C, the mileage increase from 56 cents to 57.5, and that's a federal increase. Move to approve.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the mileage increase from 56 to 57 cents. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then item 2 under C, which is for Optera Energy Services. This is an item that we wanted to bring forward to you as the board. It will be our final payment where we will retain the contingency fee as we're working out the details for the energy savings plan, and that is $155,071. And we would like to move that payment forward just so that you're aware that is our final payment for Optera other than the contingency. So we request approval.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the payment to Optera. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Finance report.
That's all we have then for the financials today. And second is Human Resources, and would like to ask our interim director, Abigail Dillard, to come forward with those recommendations for the board's approval.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, I would like to ask for your consideration on items 1 and 2, several retirements, and then I recommend for approval items 3 through 18.
Move approval of recommendations from HR.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the recommendations of HR. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Anything?
I actually have a couple of other things that I need to ask your consideration on. On item number 8, there should be a correction with regard to Michael Smith. He will be reporting to Chief Greg Snyder versus Dr. Vitale. So we might need to amend the meeting's minutes.
Okay.
Ask for approval on that.
Motion to approve the changing of supervision of employee named in number 8. Second.
Moved and seconded to change the reporting of the staff reported in section 8. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And lastly, I'd like to welcome all the new employees to the college. Like to especially draw your attention to a new employee noted in number 11, which is Daryl Wynn. He will become our Chief Compliance Officer and college attorney.
Thank you very much. I would also like to extend a welcome on behalf of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Wynn. Thank you for joining us. And all right. Let's return to Section 7, I'm sorry, Section 8, the President's Report.
We have one announcement I'd like to remind the board of. That is that the Workforce Career Entrepreneur Center open house today from 11 to 1. It's in the old Career Center room. I think it's 3379, right outside this door and straight down the hall, I believe. And you're welcome. It's from 11 to 1. And they would look forward to some of the board members or all of the board members stopping by to say hi and see their new workspace. Dr. Kramer has received a check from Verizon Foundation. I don't have it with me. I was going to do the presentation for $25,000 for his Saturday program. And congratulations, Dr. Kramer. And Dr. McDowell and Dr. Min, would you come up and give us an update on the strategic plan?
Morning.
Good morning. Good
morning. We are going to provide for you, I believe it's called in your resource library, a copy of this report. I understand we wanted to start cutting down on paper distribution because I was all about handing out paper, and we said it was not our best idea, but what we will start doing or preparing is trying to get this ready when we do our next update to go in our Board of Trustees report packet. But this morning, what we're doing is providing you an update as requested in reference to the strategic plan. Myself, Denise McDowell, and Sanki Min as the co-chairs for the strategic plan. We always like to provide some recognition that our board is supporting the strategic plan, and to continue to put before the public that in addition to the co-chairs, there's a whole team of people that are working on the strategic plan for the college. This time, what we're going to do is hit on some of what we call the trending items, the hot topics, the things that you might hear about if you were moving around campus. Our strategic direction 1 being improving success and academic achievement, and that particular direction really has 3 focuses that are a part of it. 1 being developmental education, the other being assessment, and the 3rd being student success. One of the things that happened during the first half in the fall was that a student needs assessment was taken for developmental education students. In that needs assessment, several things emerged. But one of the things that Dr. Kelly and her team recognized was though our students have what some would say computer skills in navigating social media and navigating those type of things, where they're weak is in navigating academic programming. And our students said in that needs assessment that they wanted some assistance with basic computer skills. They wanted some assistance with navigating the KCK website. And in response to that, some workshops were offered. Not long, 16, 8-week workshop, but just one day workshops for a few hours that helped them with basic computer skills related to navigating the website, trying to increase the use of the email, trying to increase their use of MyDot, trying to increase the ways that we're trying to communicate with them. One of the challenges that was discovered in offering those workshops was advertisement, getting the word out to students and having a large number. But we did offer the workshops on the main campus and at the Leavenworth Center. We also had some challenges related to the affordability of the instructors and looking at how can we utilize existing staff and personnel to continue to offer those workshops, and then underwriting the workshops. I think they actually contracted with faculty to offer those mini workshops at both the main campus and the Leavenworth site. On the next steps, they're going to offer the workshops again on February 24th and 28th. And again, the locations will be announced, but we know that they'll be on main campus. Hopefully they'll be at the Leavenworth Center again, and we may look at, do we need to offer some also at the TEC. The assessment training. One of the things that we're working on is with faculty, Carice White and her work group, working with faculty on assessment and assessment outcomes. They offered workshops that invited faculty to come and have a conversation about revising their syllabus outcomes, moving from competencies to KBOR approved outcomes. In the first workshop, not only did they hold it on campus, they utilized technology as well and offered one of the trainings on Zoom. They had 10 faculty that attended. The faculty that attended were both full-time and adjunct. 3 of the faculty that attended were program coordinators, and 4 of them had participated in an earlier assessment training that Sanki and Carice had held and invited them to off campus. The challenges in this committee continues to be them aligning their key performance indicators with what the committee is actually doing. And they also are challenged by the competencies and moving from assessing competencies to assessing KBOR outcome. They say in order to fully implement this, it may take several semesters based on what the requirements are. They are going to continue to invite faculty to come to Wednesday afternoon sessions to continue the dialogue on assessment and to continue to get conversation and go to division meetings to talk about what needs to be done. Sanki, I don't know if you want to add anything to that?
That's good.
Oh, no problem. Mandatory advising. Again, with mandatory advising, you probably have heard this buzzing around, that this spring we had students go through the mandatory advising process. In November 1, when we began enrollment for spring, there were 3,183 students that were identified as having less than 30 credit hours. The mandatory advising was targeting students with less than 30 credit hours, trying to ensure that they saw an advisor, whether it be a student advisor or their program coordinator. The preliminary data suggests that this time, that the retention rate from fall of 2014 to spring of 2015 was 66%. This is an 11% increase over the same time last year. So the preliminary data suggests that the mandatory advising is having promising outcomes. Some of the challenges, of course, was in notifying and making sure students understood, and in our students who were caught in the less than 30-hour net, but they were transfer students. So we're working to see if we can tweak our process so that our transfer students who, based on our records, look like they have less than 30 credit hours aren't actually caught in that net. And in some cases, it wasn't at all a bad idea that they saw either a student advisor or a program coordinator, because their area of interest may have changed from what it was when they transferred to our college. As far as next steps, we're going to continue to adjust that process and ensure that it meets not only the needs of the students, but also meets the objective as outlined in that mandatory advising process.
Denise, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit what that looks like? What happened in mandatory advising? And are all 3,100 advised in some way? Well,
based on what the data suggests, at least 2,000 100 of those students enrolled, and they were advised in some way because they had a hold on their account. So they could not just enroll online. So someone on the campus assisted them, whether it be a student advisor or a program coordinator, or it may have been one of the deans. But someone had to assist them in that process.
So we have staff, faculty that are specifically charged with doing that mandatory advising and contacting those students?
Yes.
And is that throughout the campus, or is that a particular department that does that?
That is done on main campus, TEC, and at the Leavenworth Center. And TEC already kind of has a mandatory advising as such, because their programs are targeted in such a way that the students who go to the TEC always see a counselor there. This was something that we put in place particularly for main campus and Leavenworth Center.
Thank you.
Yes. In our next strategic direction, improving responsiveness to evolving workforce and community needs, again, our focus here is a big net. Not only are we trying to be responsive to industry needs, we're also trying to create and improve our workforce partnerships and to get our students more involved in internships. So the challenges there is, one, a changing of the guard. Larry Hill and Rich Piper are now the work group leaders for this particular committee, and they started their duties in January. And they're finding in it that there are a number of challenges. One, that the students are sometimes unaware of the services offered at the KCK Career and Entrepreneurial Center, and hopefully that will change today with the open house. And so what we know is that the students were accustomed to seeing it as the Career Center, and we're wanting them to also now look at it in its expanded role, but that requires us to do some marketing and get them some exposure. Also, increasing the contact between our students and local employment agencies. We're often hearing that there are job opportunities and the number of job opportunities, but trying to get the connection and the fit between what those jobs are and what our students' skills are and their exposure to them, so that they are aware that the jobs are there and we have met the demand by training them appropriately for the openings that are out in our community. So what are they going to do to try to correct this? They're going to offer some student focus groups. They're going to be talking to students about what is out there and trying to improve the service availability. We'll also have employment agencies who will be coming to campus and visit throughout this month and future months to again expose our students to job opportunities, and continuing the partnership between our Career Center and the Fire Science Department, again, understanding or noticing that sometimes our students' interview skills are not matching the industry need, and trying to sharpen them in that regard so that they can take advantage of those opportunities. As far as our business industry partnerships, we know that this CNC laser training is one of the first in the Kansas City area. And I know you want to know what the CNC laser training is. That is that big machine we bought that cuts metal, and that CNC actually stands for the computer numerically controlled. It's an industry recognized cutting machine that is over at the TEC. And we will be doing custom training for a industry partner in this area. Also, this Gibbs software training is again in the machine technology program. It is again an industry recognized credential for people in this laser manufacturing field. They will be doing some of that training again at our TEC. The Hankey Manufacturing joined our welding advisory board. So again, what we're doing is increasing those partnerships, exposing business and industry to what KCK can do for them and their employees. And one of the things in talking to Cliff, I said, tell me more about why is this so awesome? And one of the things he shared with me is that this Gibbs software and this credential, that when folks have that additional training, their pay can go up anywhere from $23 per hour and up. And what we're finding is that students and others aren't necessarily aware of these opportunities, nor are they knocking down our doors to go in for this training. So we are talking about how can we enhance our students' awareness that this is an awesome job opportunity. But as he said, many of them think of that as one of those dirty jobs. So we have to change that perception for, again, the idea that it's an industry-recognized credential, and it seems like it has the potential to be a family sustainable wage as well. Some of the challenges, the barriers in marketing internships, trying to find a central way to gather the data in reference to what are the internships we have on our campus, who are taking advantage of those internships, and then what can we do to stand in the gap and continue to make our students aware of and help them take advantage of the opportunities at their disposal. So what are they going to do? Again, they want to hold some focus groups on internship awareness. They want to do training for coordinators in reporting internships into our database. And again, exploring the partnership between fire science and the National Testing Network. In our third direction, enhancing organizational effectiveness and culture, again, this one deals with our image, communication, environmental sustainability and technology, and branding. In this particular direction, in improving our communication, again, last month you asked us, or last time we reported to you, what are we doing with the data that we're gathering? One of the things that we have is the climate survey. And the Strategic Planning Committee for Organizational Culture and the College Senate have sent out a survey to all college employees welcoming feedback on what do they mean about communication. One of the things that we know, or at least I've read a book by John Maxwell that suggests everyone communicates, but not everyone connects. One of the things that we're looking at in this improving communication is how do we connect the appropriate communication with the appropriate people at the appropriate time. And hopefully this next survey that we're doing that deals exclusively with communication will provide some of those answers for us. What are some of the challenges? Securing responses to have a representative sample from all employees, and minimizing this fear of retribution. Many people say that they're concerned about, can I be identified, and if you identify me, and that has been something that has gone on for some time. In looking at the survey, I completed it myself. I think based on how they asked you to categorize yourself, someone would have to do some serious data mining to determine who filled out the survey. So I'm hoping we can put that fear to rest. The next step will be in analyzing the data, submitting a report for review, and hopefully answering some of the questions about what do we mean here at the college when we say communication. One of our other directions here has to do with environmental sustainability. One of the things that you'll hear about is you all approve us having a tobacco-free campus effective fall of 2015. One of the challenges is the notification process. When we shared this information in one of our strategic plan meetings, we had students present at that time, and their first response was, whoa, when did this happen? When are you all gonna let us know? How is this gonna be enforced? And the list went on. And then they asked the same question in College Senate. So I think one of our challenges is that notification process. How do we let everyone know? The community, personnel, students, and our external stakeholders.
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Whose responsibility is that going to be?
Well, at this particular point, because it's a board charge, I guess they would charge someone. The committee could work on some of it, but I'm not sure whose responsibility it is in total.
Is that something we should discuss as a board, or
I
should?
can respond to that.
Okay.
Mr. Nguyen is writing the policy, or has written the policy that will be, he has a draft of it. It will be disseminated throughout the college, beginning in the college senate, and it will spread throughout the college for comments, for recommendations for changing any of the policy, and then we will also have a concerted effort of putting up notices and all of that will come a little bit later in the semester.
Great. All right.
Answer my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our last one in this area is branding. And we know that Truzzolo Communications was hired. Truzzolo Communications has presented to the Board of Trustees, to the Strategic Planning Group, to the College Senate, and to various other groups throughout the campus. And now what we're doing is waiting for some of their recommendations as to how we're going to rebrand the college and market. I know that many of you may have, over the holidays, as I did, noticed some of the ads that were on TV. One of the things I noted is that we're all doing similar things. I think what the difference is how we tell our story and how we market it. So I think we're all anticipating some of the strategies that Truzzolo will share with us on how we can be a game changer in telling our story in the community as well. So this is what we've done so far. I know that we want to say special thanks to all the contributors who have helped with and continue to help with the strategic plan process in addition to the board. And I think we've done what our final quote suggests. The results of planning should be effective, efficient, and economical, that is suitable for the intended purpose, capable of producing the desired results, and involving the least investment of resources. Are there any questions?
I think good work. I guess I have a question about measurement.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume the Strategic Planning Committee, besides working on strategy, is also working on how we're going to measure the impact.
Yes.
And might be interested in report down the road somewhere as you make the suggestions or strategic plan also how we're going to measure the results of those plans.
And I think at this point, with the data starting to come
Right.
in,
Yeah.
and we're beginning to ask those questions back in our monthly meetings, what is the measure of our success? What does the data suggest? And are we doing what the students want? Are we doing what the students need? And are we getting the desired outcome? So
Great.
we are asking
Thank
those
you.
questions. Any other questions? Well, Sanki and I,
Good report.
on behalf of the committee, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good, Denise, Dr. Sunke. Very good report. Thank you very much.
I have more. Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're still up.
In the administration's effort to provide the college with up-to-date information regarding the whereabouts of employees, today, following the approvals by the Board of Trustees, the Human Resources Office will forward an employee information sheet that introduces new hires. It advises the college of retirements and resignations, and also office changes and other non-confidential information about employees. So you can look for that either later today or tomorrow. The implementation of institutional innovation proposals, as you know, is a new initiation that began in January 2015. And the purpose of it is just to move the college forward to the next level. And in order to do that, during the month of January, each employee was asked to submit an idea for implementation and adoption by the college. The proposals were much more numerous than we ever thought we would receive. So we've been, it has taken us longer to review them and to finally select 5. We whittled the group down to 10 and then down to 5. And from the 10, 5 proposals were selected for implementation during this calendar year. What we found was that several of them could be implemented without any special college-wide notification. They could happen within departments or divisions or within classrooms without any support from the administration. One that will be implemented immediately was a request to place all meetings, in-service online trainings open to employees online to be watched at convenient times. This will provide a level of transparency and foster better morale. And that was submitted by Karen Reagan. And what we're going to do is begin with the College Senate. It will be recorded. We've already made arrangements for it to be videotaped, and it will be shown throughout the college and on the television station, I assume also. It will be available college-wide and to the Board of Trustees also. The top 5, and I'm going to share those with you. This is the first time anybody's ever heard of these. Ever heard that there are a top 5, and I'll also do the 10. The first one is, and not necessarily in this order, but a unique process for recruiting high school students from KCKC, from KCK, Leavenworth, Lansing, Piper, Bonner Springs, and Turner school districts with 2.5 and below GPAs. And that's Dr. Michael Burns of the Academic Resource Center who submitted that one. And the second one is have one person maintain and keep all events taking place at the college on a master calendar. And that's Dewana Fangor from the endowment office. The third one is create a leadership development program. And that was submitted by Barbara Clark Evans in the Cultural Center. The fourth one, renovate, refurbish, repair, update, and eliminate the safety hazards on the women's softball field. Install parking area near the field, add a concrete sidewalk connecting State Avenue to Delaware, and that was submitted by Casey Tillery, who is the women's softball coach, Tony Tompkins, the athletic director, Philip Cuppy, Community Information Systems and Technology Department. We combined all of those suggestions into one because they were all about the same area on campus. We were not aware of the hazards that exist for the women's softball field, but through this process, and we've got to fix those. The fifth one is offer a small percentage of strategic parking spots at locations on KCKCC sites to faculty and staff as an opportunity to reserve a parking spot through a tax-exempt payroll deduction. For example, $15 a month would generate $180 per year per spot. If as few as 56 spots were allocated, it would generate over $10,000 per year for scholarships. Students would benefit from the scholarships, and faculty and staff would also benefit through a tax-exempt payroll deduction and from knowing they are helping students be successful. And that is from Kristen Ball, a business instructor. And the additional that completed the 10, the first one would be improve our internal and external signage at the college, beautify the grounds, place banners on light posts, change photographs on the home page daily. And that was submitted by Patrick McCartney in the endowment office and Jim Mayer, jazz ensemble instructor. The second one was purchase Robotel Incorporated language software to create a digital language laboratory. and that it was submitted by Elsie Smith, Assistant Professor, and Elizabeth Holloway, Coordinator of ESOL. The third one, establish a physical therapy community clinic, additional simulation labs, and create a medical assistant program office. And that was presented by Sledden Hall, Physical Therapy Assistant Program, Shirley Wendell, retired Dean of Allied Health, and Timothy Dorr of the Medical Assistant Program. The fourth one was electronic submission of items to be copied to the print shop. Review free printing for students in our campus labs. And that was presented by Elena Azagovich. She works with me on that, and I still haven't gotten it right. And she is in Arts, Humanities, and Social Science. She's one of the faculty members. And the last one was create a KCKCC call center. Dr. Denise McDowell, Registrar and Dean at Admissions. And then for the rest of the projects, we are going through that list, and as we can move them forward, we will. Funding for additional proposals beyond the first 5 will follow as funds are or will become available. We are very proud of the thoughtful projects that were submitted. It was a very difficult process to get to these 10. So thank you so much. We will do this every January for the college. And we know that with your support and with your suggestions, we'll be able to move KCKCC to the next level. Thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Very good. Ask a motion to approve the president's report.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the president's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I don't recall if we approved the vice president's report.
I don't think we did. I think we just,
No, just the
the two
course,
items.
the course fees
Yeah.
was the only aspect.
Action items remain.
So I ask for approval of the vice president's report.
So moved.
Just a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention is you have before you on the, Peggy handed out a document called the Foresight 2020 Annual Report by KBOR. Dr. Min in institutional research pulled out data for unique to KCKCC to compare that with. It was a little hard to work with because everything was done in PDF files on the state website, but you have in front of you a one-sheet page that shows you an example of what they pulled together and what I added to it to show the all the community colleges to show how KCKCC compared against that. The report that he did and that I added to ended up, it was about 14 pages long, so we didn't try to print it for you at this point, but I can make that available to you electronically. And we can also send you the link to the electronic version of the Foresight 2020 report. And where that's important is on the main landing page. There are appendices there that allow the reader to go through, and where they are, there is data for individual community colleges. For example, Goal 1, Metric 1, you can click on a link there that will take you to show you all of the individual institutions, state universities, technical colleges, and the community colleges to see how each individual school did. And it was from those appendices links that Songki and his team were able to pull that data together. The other thing is you saw a brochure on PTK on your site, and I want you to note that this is not a KCKCC brochure. This is a brochure for the National Phi Theta Kappa program, and it's gone nationally to institutions all across the country. And the reason we're showing that to you is if you take a look at the faces of students that you see in this brochure, they are all KCKCC students. In late spring, fall semester, PTK came and did a photo shoot here in Kansas City with our students provide them, of course, the T-shirts and such that they wear, and we dress them in graduation garb for the photo shoot. And our students ended up on the brochure for this, and you see them on all of the PTK social media sites as well. So those are our students, and I just kind of wanted to make sure you were aware that that's why they're there, so that you could recognize those students. And also just, we were scrolling at the beginning of the board meeting, the article on our automotive technology program and Mr. John Haddock, and showing, talking about, it ran in the Kansas City Star on February 6th, talking about how much the faculty and have to keep abreast of all the changes that are taking place in the automotive industry. It's gone a lot different than what it was when I was, 18-year-old and working on cars. You have to understand a lot of technology. Your car will tell you when you need to change your oil. It will tell you just about everything about that you need anymore today. So there's a lot to it, and just wanted to make sure you had a chance to look at that article.
Thought it was brilliant to feature the female students on there too.
Yes.
In non-traditional jobs. It was awesome.
It was. Thank you. So with that, if you have any questions about my report, I'm glad to answer any.
I just have a comment. I appreciate the academic information for our athletic program. Tony, I appreciate you putting that together. I think it continues to show that we're really focusing on having high-quality students in our athletic program. So, in fact, you're tracking that and providing that information. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, I've had a motion to accept the Vice President for Academic Affairs report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Moving along. Item 13, committee reports. Don, did you have
Well, I suppose I can begin. Marianne and I traveled to Washington, D.C. last week for the AACC and ACCT Joint Legislative Summit. We met with all of our federal legislative delegation. Had some good meetings with them one-on-one. Heard some interesting presentations in the general session meetings. We worked the crowd a little bit in an effort to promote our fellow trustee from Johnson County Community College, Jerry Cook, who will be running for a national board position this October at the National Congress in San Diego. So we did a little groundwork for that as well while we were there. Overall, the sessions were good. They were productive. Congressman Yoder invited us to the House chamber to view a vote on Tuesday evening, and so we were escorted there by some staffers and observed that process. It was very interesting. And then he very graciously asked Representative John Lewis to meet with us, who Marianne is very acquainted with, and many of you may recognize the name as a civil rights activist that worked very closely with Dr. Martin Luther King. If you've seen the movie Selma, there was a character identified as John Lewis in the movie there. One of the young men that actually took a beating on the bridge that first day they marched, and Representative Lewis graciously agreed to stick around for a few minutes to greet us and speak with us for a few minutes. So it was a pretty historic moment there, and a very interesting discussion ensued for a couple of minutes. So it was a good visit. We were in and out without any travel difficulties. Marianne did very well, no falling on the steps. She wasn't allowed on the steps without a double escort, and so it was a good trip.
Thank you, Don. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move along to unfinished business.
Mr. Chairman, I failed to have us accept the financial report.
That's what I thought.
So I need to make a motion to accept the financial reports as presented.
Second.
So moved and seconded to accept the financial report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Missed that. All right, moving again to unfinished business. We need to take action to approve the execution of the UG interlocal agreement as presented at the board meeting on December 9th.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the execution of the UG interlocal agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we adjourn.